Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at activity 1.3, the Germ Guide App. During this activity, you're going to learn how to begin to build your first application. You'll also explore how the app works and how computer scientists develop these apps for end users or consumers. Now, what I'm going to need you to go ahead and do here in a second is you're going to go ahead and pause this recording. And during that time, I'm going to have you go ahead and watch that app design and development video down below. Once you have finished watching the video, you're going to go ahead and scroll down and try to answer questions 1 and 2 on your own. Once you have answered those questions, you can go ahead and play the video again, and we will continue with our lesson. Now that you've had time to watch our video and take a look at questions 1 and 2, let's see what they're actually talking about with these questions. Why is it important for an app developer to work closely with the client and end users to understand what their users want and need? Well, this is mainly because app developers are creating products for their end users. If they don't include them in the developmental process, then they can potentially design and build a product that really doesn't meet the end user's needs or wants. So it's really important that we include them in that design process. The second question asks us about a computer scientist who creates an app that tells you a funny joke each time you touch the joke button. What does the view layer for the app contain, and what does the controller layer do for this app? Well, the view layer contains what we call the UI, which is also known as the user interface. This includes the joke button that the user can actually touch with or interact with. As far as the controller layer contains the program that tells you how to respond when a user touches that joke button. For this event, touching the joke button triggers an event that the controller layer will display a joke on the user interface. So what we have that we're going to be looking at are 3 different components, and that's going to be our model layer, our view layer, and our controller layer. Now, we've already looked at the view layer, and that is mainly the user interface. That's what we as the user tend to see and interact with. You also have the controller layer. The controller layer really is the part where it's kind of controlling what the view and the model layers are doing. So this directs the response to all the events that occur during the runtime of the actual app. Our model and data layer, this is what's managing the data of our app. It stores data, that retrieves data according to different commands from the controller. It also displays the data in the user interface, or what we also call our view layer. We're going to be talking a lot about our model, view layer, and controller layer as we move on. Now that we have a little background, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the next part of this activity, which is basically the design time. So as you learned in the video, computer scientists need to work with their client and end users to make sure that they build apps that meet the user's wants or need. Well, we've already gone ahead and completed our design requirements. This is also known as a design brief. Now, these design requirements are already being given to us. And what we need to do with these design requirements is make sure that our app actually meets every one of those little bulleted points in that design requirement box. So if we look closely at this, you can see that we have this user interface. And the user interface needs to have 4 screens. So it has to have a screen that displays 3 buttons: a waterborne disease, diseases associated with crowding, and vector-borne diseases. So that's going to be basically our home screen that contains just 3 buttons that will allow us to get to new screens. We'll also have a screen that basically looks at diseases associated with crowding, and that's going to be our measles and meningitis screen. We have waterborne diseases, which is our cholera and E-tech. And then you have another screen with vector-borne diseases, which has malaria and dengue fever. Now, as far as the functionality of these buttons, we're also going to use a back button. So when we press that back button, we can get back to our home screen. When we press the disease buttons, such as the measles, meningitis, cholera, it's going to play an audio clip that's going to actually describe or give us general information about the corresponding disease. So a lot of this is going to be repetitive programming. Once you learn how to do one screen, the next screen should come pretty easy for you. Now, as far as today, what we're going to look at is here's kind of a sketch that illustrates what the view layer or our user interface should really look like. So here you're going to see that in the upper left-hand corner, we have our home screen. And that's basically going to be our diseases that are associated with natural disasters. And then again, we have what we call these waterborne diseases. We have these diseases associated with crowding and vector-borne diseases. We have 3 additional screens, one for our diseases associated with crowding, our waterborne diseases, and then our vector-borne diseases. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how we can create these. And what we're really looking at here is how to create the different components or use those components for the first time. So for the first home screen, we're going to basically only be using a couple things such as a label. We'll be using buttons, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how we can use our actual arrangements in order to place things appropriately on the screen. So we'll get a little bit into the programming part during our next lesson here. What we're going to look at doing today is we're going to begin our building by going ahead and downloading that A13 germguide.aia file. And this is going to contain the starter code for our app. Some of the app has already been pre-built for us, and the further we get in this course, the less we're going to give you to start off with. But right now you have a good portion of your UI already completed. We're going to go ahead and make sure we save it to a folder or anywhere that you feel safe on your Chromebook. And then we're going to need to go ahead and access our App Inventor and log into it using our Google account. And we're going to go ahead and import that project or that .aia file into MIT App Inventor. Now remember that if you go ahead and click on that file down below, it's not going to be able to open for you on your Chromebook. The only way for us to see what it looks like is to first click on it, download it to our files section or our files app, and then import it in. Now, once that is imported in, we're ready to go ahead and start our project, which we will begin during our next lesson. Let's take a look at how we could import our AIA file into MIT App Inventor. From your activity 1.3, the Germ Guide App intro activity, we're going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and you'll see 2 links that we're going to need to use. One being your A1_3_germguide.aia file, as well as MIT App Inventor. The first thing we're going to want to go ahead and do is click on this AIA file. That's going to go ahead and download that into your files or download manager. And what we're going to want to go ahead and do is check to see where it's actually going. So we'll click on Show in Folder. And from there, we're going to locate where it's actually being stored on your Chromebook. So here I can see that it's being stored in my drive, and it's going to be stored under that A1_3 germguide.aia file. Remember, no files will upload into MIT App Inventor if they have that parentheses and number. So if you've downloaded this multiple times, you're going to need to find the original file. Now that we know where that file is located, we can go back to our Schoology, and we're going to go ahead and click on that MIT App Inventor. That will open a new tab for you where it will ask you to go ahead and create your apps. And once you click Create Apps and sign in, it should bring you to your dashboard in MIT App Inventor. Now, if you've already imported one in, that's fine. We're going to go back to My Projects. And from your project screen, you will see all of the apps that you have brought in. In order to bring this new one in, we're going to go and click on My Projects. We'll go down to Import Project AIA from my computer. And we're going to go and choose that file we just downloaded. So once you go ahead and click on that, we're going to need to go and click on My Drive, find the file that you want, which is going to be that germguide.aia, and go ahead and select Open. Once you select Open, go ahead and hit OK, and it'll take a minute for that file to be imported into MIT App Inventor. Once it's imported in, it should turn to a splash screen where we will actually see what the app looks like, and we can begin programming.